we're going to finish up 4-4. And this is using slope-intercept form. And the slope-intercept form for an equation is y equals mx plus b. Now, the y-intercept is always 0 in some other value. So you see that if I put 0 in this equation for x, if I put 0 in there, then 0 times m is 0, right? 0 times any number is 0. This is b. So this right here is that. So this is called slope-intercept form. And so what they're saying is that you know the slope. You know the slope right there. Somehow. And then you know the intercept right there. So 0b is going to be your intercept. So when we got the equation 30, y equals 3x plus 1, the slope, which is m, in this particular problem is what? 3. That's that number right there. And then the y-intercept is going to be 0, 1. So it's this value right here. So you're ready to graph that then with that information. So you go to y-intercept. And you're going to plot 0, 1. There's your y-intercept. And then the slope is 3, so that means 3 over 1. Means you go 1 right from that point and 3 up. Right there. So it's kind of a mess. It's that point right there. But what you can do for a slope of 3, you can write it as a minus 3 over a minus 1. That means from this y-intercept you go left 1, down 3. So you see that this point right, that line right there is collinear with that line right there. So you can always do that. You can go left or right from your intercept once you know your slope. So 32. You got y equals 2/5 x minus 2. So your slope, m, is 2/5. And your y-intercept is going to be what? 0 minus 2. Everyone see why? Okay, then when I graph it, I find my y-intercept, which is 0 minus 2. So it's that point right there. And now my slope is 2/5. That says that I go 5 right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 up. It's either that point, or else I can do this. I can, because the negative 2 over negative 5 is plus 2/5, right? I can go 5 left from this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 down. And I can join those points. So I could join the points here up to here, or I could join the points here. And you can see that no matter what that is, they're collinear. Those lines extend. So I can do it either way I want. 34. It says 2x plus y equals 3. Now this is not in slope-intercept form. This is what we call standard form. Standard form is always ax plus by equals c. Now you can write an equation standard form or slope-intercept form, but they want us to graph this off of slope-intercept. So what we have to do is we've got to take this equation right here and turn it into slope-intercept. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. And then I'm going to have y equals negative 2x plus 3. Now I got it in slope-intercept form. And my slope is negative 2, and my y-intercept is 0, 3. That information, I'm ready to graph it. So 0 plus 3 is right up there. And the slope is minus 2. Now technically that's a minus 2 over 1. 1 to the right, down 2. Now if we went left, one left, we'd go up 2, right? And we could join our y-intercept with either one of those points, and they should be collinear. This is the one that too good no matter what I do. But those two are collinear, no matter which way I graph it. The next one I'm going to do is 38. It says y equals 2/3 x. Now then, slope-intercept, you don't have all the values there, but what is always understood is what? You can always put a plus 0. Now then, you have the form y equals mx plus b, where your slope is 2/3 and your y-intercept, x is 0, but now y is 0. So with that information, you're ready to graph it. So you go from 0, 0, and now then the 2/3 says you go 3 right, 2 up. You can always say 2 up and 3 right, get you there. Or you could say 3 left, 2 down, or 2 down and 3 left. Now notice this graph this should be collinear. You should be able to do the rest of those, unless you have something you want me to do. Okay. 42 says 3x minus 4y equals 12. Now what we want to do is we want to get y by itself on one side. And the other thing is we want to have it be positive.
Plus 4y.
What?
Plus 4y on each side and minus 12.
Yeah. What you can do to make that y positive is add the 4y to both sides. And then subtract the 12 from both sides. So that you get 3x minus 12 equals 4y. Now you got the y as positive, because you want y positive. Then what you can do is, technically what you should do is 1/4 times both sides, because you can, the mathematics says that you can do anything to, as long as you do it to everything on both sides. It's the same thing as doing this, is dividing every term by 4. Because you distribute that 1/4 through on the left-hand side. So now you have 3/4 x minus, and 4 into 12 is 3 equals, and these cancel, y. So here's your equation. Y equals 3/4 x minus 3. Do you follow me that far? Okay. So now the slope is 3/4, and the y-intercept is going to be 0 minus 3. And we're ready to graph it. So I'm going to have to graph it. 0 minus 3 is right down there. And now my 3/4, that means from that point, I go 4 right and 3 up. So I'll get right to there. And I'm ready to graph it. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Now then, 46. A says, if a line has a slope of 2, then the value of y does what? Increases or decreases? As you move 1 unit to the right. Increase? So it's increases by how much? 2. Okay, B says, if a line has a slope of minus 3, then the value of y decreases, right? By what, as the value of x increases by 1? Technically, when you read it, it would have to be decreases by 3, wouldn't it? Because if you decrease by a negative 3, you'd actually be going positive, right? I don't know. You decrease by a negative, you turn it around. I don't know. I guess I would take it either way, but it seems to me like it should be answer 3. If the line has a slope of minus 2, then the value of y does what? Increase or decreases?
Oh, decrease.
Decreases.
It's by 2.
So that's the way you do those problems. 48. Now it says it wants to find the value of k such that those points are collinear. Now there's an algebraic way of doing it, which I'll show you first. And then there's a graphical way. Now if they're collinear, then between any two of the points, the slope is the same, right? So if I take these 2 points here, this one and this one, and I find the slope, and that's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So find the slope between those two. And I'm going to use, I'll use the second one as, the first one is y2. So I go 3 minus 0 minus 2 minus 1. So that's 3 over negative 3, which is a minus 1. So the slope is a minus 1. Now, if I take these two, this one and this one, and I plug it into my formula, m equals, and if I use this one as x2, y2, then it's going to be 2 minus 0, and then in the denominator I'll have k minus 1, right? And the slope is got to be minus 1, don't it? It's got to be the same slope as the other ones. So now I have 2 over k minus 1 equals minus 1. Now what did I do? Multiply both sides by k minus 1. This goes out, and then I have 2. And then I have to distribute the minus 1 through there, so it's a minus k plus 1. Now if I add a k to both sides, then subtract a 2. On the left I'll have k, and on the right I'll have a minus 1. So my ordered pair here, this ordered pair right here, is a minus 1, 2. Now I could graph that result. I could find minus 2, 3, x is a minus 2, y is a 3. That's that point right there. And then the 1, 0 is out here. X is 1, y is 0. And then if I plotted those 2 points, and then if I took this K2, if I go 2 up, I go 1, I go 1, 2 up, and find the point on the graph, it's right there. And that's x is minus 1, y is 2. And that agrees with what I got there. Okay. So 4.5, section 4.5 is the next one we're going to do. says, what is the point slope formula and how is it used? So that's a good one to introduce this section. The point slope formula is this one. It's y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Now where did that come from? It came from your slope formula. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where what you know is you know x1, y1, and you know x2, y2, and you want to calculate your slope. Now, in this problem, we know x1, y1, and we know the slope. So we know m in that equation. We don't know y2, but we do know y1. We don't know x2, but we do know x1. So then for the x2, x1, we put variable xy, unknown quantities, unknowns. And so we put y, x. And you see if you multiply this x minus 1, x1 times both sides, you see that this thing here, you get that equation right there. You know the slope, you know a point, and you plug it into that formula. So what I'm going to do then on number 4 is I'm going to use that, because it says find the equation of a line that contains a point and has a given slope. So here's my point, 0, 2, 0, 3, and here's my slope. So I'm going to write my formula, y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And then in red, I'm going to insert what I know. I don't know the y, but I do know the y1. y1 is 3. I do know the m. I don't know the x, but I do know the x1.
This is the one supposed to be positive.
Yeah, the one's supposed to be positive.
This is supposed to be positive?
Yes.
Right here. So all what that would do is change this, right? So this is just going to be 1. Now, if you multiply the 1 through there, you get x. Now, this far right here would be the answer to the question as you ask what the question, we're asked the question. But when you put it in a calculator, you have to have y by itself on one side. So this is slope-intercept form. And that's what you always have to write. If you're going to put it in your calculator, it's got to be in that form. But as far as answering the problem, you've answered it here. It's best that you know how to get to here in doing these problems. Okay, 8. You have a point, 2 minus 2. 1, and slope 3/2. So I would, if I would you, I would suggest that you write this out. Now, I've seen people make mistakes, and they'll put this point right here in for these values. And then sometimes they'll, I don't know, they'll do some other crazy stuff, but that isn't what you do. What you do is you go y minus, and you insert then the 1, the y value in there. Then you would insert the slope. Yeah. Then insert the -2. Be sure you put that bracket, that -2, because it's going to be minus and minus. Then you should at least get it to this point. That would be the minimum. Now, what you should learn how to do, because you're going to have to put in your calculator, is to be able to go on and get it to slope-intercept form. This will cancel. And then you'll have y minus 1 equals 3 halves x plus 3. So y is going to equal 3 halves x plus 4. That'd be a preferable way to be able to get the problem. Okay, I'm going to do 20. It says your point is 4 minus 5, and your slope is 2. So I'm going to put y minus, and what am I going to put in for y1? Bracket minus 5, aren't I? Then it's 2, and then x minus 4, right? Y plus 5 equals 2, and distribute this, 2x minus 8, and y equals, moving the 5 over, so y equals 2x minus 13 should be the answer there. (26) says a point 3, 5 m minus 3/7. So putting it in your equation, it's y minus what?
Y minus 5.
Y minus 5, right? Equals slope negative 3/7, and then it's x minus 3, right? Y minus 5 equals, now I got to distribute this, minus 3/7 x minus, that's that minus, then I got to put a minus 3/7 times 3. I didn't need that last bracket. So it's y minus 5 equals a minus 3/7 x. So minus and minus, this is going to be a plus, and this is going to be 9/7, right? So it's y, and I'm going to move the 5 over to the other side. Minus 3/7 sevenths x minus 9 sevenths plus 5. Now what am I going to have to do? Common denominator, right? 7 is a common denominator, so I got to get this with a common denominator of 7. So I got to multiply it by 7 over 7. This is y equals minus 3 sevenths x minus 9 sevenths plus 35 sevenths so y equals minus 3 sevenths x and a minus 9, so I got a common denominator, so I can just combine the numerators. Minus 9 plus 35 is what? 26 plus 26 sevenths. So this would be what you would put in your calculator. Anyone have trouble with fractions? Common denominators up to 22. Because what we're going to, the test is going to cover 4 in this page 249 here. 22 says the 0.51 and the slope is 4/5. Y minus y1 is m x minus x1. So you tell me, I'm going to go y minus what?
Minus 1
1 equals,
negative 4 over 5.
is it negative 4 over 5? It was. Negative 4/5 x minus 5. So it's y minus 1. And distribute that negative 4/5 minus 4/5 x plus a minus, that's it. I did them. I should not have done it that way because it don't show you what it is. It's a minus 4/5 times 5. I was multiplying it out already. X minus y minus 1 minus 4/5 x plus, and 4/5 of 5 is what? 5's go out and it's a 4, correct? Move the 1 over. And that should be the answer. I've done all my math.
Okay, so what do you do with the 1?
This one right here,
Yeah.
what I did was I added 1 on this side, and I added 1 over here.
So how'd you get that 4 though again? You just minus the 1?
This one up here,
Yeah.
see if I do this problem right here. I've done the minus times the minus is a plus, I got that, right?
Yeah.
Now then I got 4/5, and I got 5. Technically that 5 is 5 over 1, right? Now, this 5 and this 5 are in, one's in the numerator, one's in the denominator. They cancel. There's your 4.
4 over 1 equals 4. Okay.
Okay, any questions? Want to see any, this is as far as I got in the other classes, so want to see another problem? Are you good? Are you good? You good?